Hey.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to MCon Live Part 2 with the lovely
Hey.
Danny John-Jules. We're here for Strictly Speaking with Danny John-Jules. I'm Ashley. I'm your host again this evening. And welcome to everyone. Please like and subscribe to this video and add your comments at the bottom, and hopefully we'll get to some questions later on. This evening, it's all about Strictly Come Dancing and then on to some Red Dwarf questions. So how are you this evening, Danny?
I'm fine, sir. Got me cane, got me
Good.
razzmatazz.
Always have to have a bit of razzmatazz.
Oh, yeah.
Bit
Jazz and
subdued with the dress
razzmatazz.
sense this week.
Sorry?
Bit subdued with your dress sense this week after last week.
Are you kidding me? I'll tell you what, mate. Most people turn up to work in trainers and jeans when I'm working. As you could see, if you go and look at 3 Million Years, the documentary, I rest my case.
Very true. Very, very true. Okay, so this evening it's Strictly Speaking with Danny John-Jules. So we want to start with discussing your time on Strictly Come Dancing and the outcome that happened, and hear your side of things. So we want to start off getting some context into Strictly Come Dancing. So when were you asked to perform on the show? What were your experiences on getting cast on the show? And a bit of an overview of the process each week leading up to the live performances.
Well, to start off with, it all really started many years ago in Ladbroke Grove, because the commissioner of Strictly Come Dancing is a friend of mine from Ladbroke Grove. Yeah, Irish lady. I won't go into names and all that because it's all boring. But anyway, funny enough, yesterday the father of her children bigged me outside my house as I was going in. Now, this lady used to work for Channel 4 before that, and the last time I telling you what's coming next, and of course because of Death in Paradise I was at that do, and that's the last time I saw her. So that was about 4 years ago. I was doing a show called the Real Full Monty, which was in aid of prostate cancer, which was obviously close to my heart because of the discrepancy between black males and Caucasian males in attracting that disease, because Caucasians are 1 in 8 chance and black men are 1 in 4. So for me, I was thinking like, I don't want my son to be a 1 in 4 as well. We've got to do something about this because nobody knows why. So anyway, that's how I got involved in prostate cancer, and then on to I was like an ambassador. They started something called Stronger Knowing More, which was to get that message out to the black community, and they used like is that me already? Right, okay. So anyway, they used all these famous black faces to promote this drive. David Hay, Benjamin Zephaniah, Chukra Numa, Linford Christie, etc. Anyway, what happened was I was at, believe it or not, the BAFTA Awards with ITV because of the Full Monty. And what happened was I was all of a sudden, after I did the Full Monty, I got invited to the head of Channel 4's shindig at Kensington Palace. And I was thinking, I've never, not Channel 4, was it Channel 4 or ITV? Sorry, ITV. Of course, it was on ITV. And I was thinking, why has he invited me? And I still didn't get it, So anyway, when I was there, it was all Lorraine, Pierce Morgan, all the big hitters of this ITV domain. And I was standing there and I was with Charlene White, the ITV newsreader, who was heavily expecting. literally thought that I was going to have to deliver it for her. But anyway,
well, that'd be a new story for you.
Eh?
That'd be a good story for you next time.
Exactly.
You delivered a baby.
Like the cat pregnant all over again. So anyway, I was standing there with Charlene White, and these three women came over, and one of them I recognised as the commissioner of the show for Monty. So there was another two ladies. One was her assistant, and one was apparently the lady that actually commissioned the show, but had since retired. And so they came up to me, and I was standing there, and they said that, just want to say that that your character was by far the most popular in the show. I went, oh, interesting. No wonder I got an invite to the party. So anyway, moving on from that, right? The joke was that at Prostate Cancer, when they did the drive with all those guys, these, and apparently it brought in 5 million quid, that drive. And they reckon I had 80% of the hits.
Wow.
So
that is
was
an
quite
achievement.
funny as well. So I went from that to ITV, them telling me that. So now I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to get my head out the door? And it was a good thing that I had witnesses, because people had called me a liar, right? So, what a better witness than an ITV newsreader,
Yeah, but she was going off TV for 9 months, so she wouldn't tell anyone for a while.
Well,
anyway.
The thing is, she's back on now because I saw her today. But anyway, so what happened now? I was then, obviously, this show took me to the BAFTAs. Like, mate, I haven't been invited to the BAFTAs of 32 years of Red Dwarf. I got me kit off once, and I got invited to the BAFTAs.
Well,
What's going on? What's going on here? Right? 32 years of Red Dwarf kicking bottom severely. Never been invited to the BAFTAs.
Which is very strange.
I go on a Mickey Mouse, well, not Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mice maybe. And then, get me clobber off. And all of a sudden I'm at the BAFTAs. So anyway, I'm in the BAFTAs. That's afterwards. I'm having a little shindig. And the lady who commissions Strictly, she brought over the producer of the show to me and basically just said, so you're going to come and do Strictly this year, aren't you? And I went, you'll have to speak to my agent about that. Being professional, like.
So was this
I'm not going to go through a business deal at a party, am I? Let's face it. So
was this for the year you were going to be on, or was this prior to that
absolutely, year? Absolutely. The series that was coming. Those people don't do next year. They do now. Okay. They do now. This is the biggest show, the most oiled machine the BBC have got, right? And I tell you that it's oiled. It's so oiled. You are just a cog in a big machine, and as long as you understand that, you'll get on fine. So she came over to me and said, so you're going to do Strictly this year. So as I said, I just said, well, you have to talk to my agent, like any professional actor would have done, So and then the wheels were in motion. So, but at that night itself, it was interesting because, Mr. Jones was there with his wife, who is called what? Katia.
Yes.
And then he said, oh, you're going to have to dance with my wife. I thought, man, this is like deep, it's like straight. It's just boom. It's, it's just this roller coaster that happens the moment you're mentioned next to that show. There's this roller coaster of lovey-dom that just follows. I mean, I'd never met these people before. And anyway, so I was there. And then it proceeded like that. So, I was pretty much, if I really wanted to be in Strictly and I got my agent on it, I would have got my agent to call the person that I know, who's obviously the girl that makes I know the person that hires the producer. So, I would have quite easily have just had a word in her ear, wouldn't I? Or got my agent to call her.
And prior to that, Was it anything you ever thought about you wanted to do because of your dance background and things?
I used to watch Strictly, and I used to say to myself, they'll never let me on that show. You know, I used to watch it. And that's why I pretty much didn't really bother, because for me, I knew what they were going to say. They would say that, oh, it's not fair because Danny's done dancing before. But so have many of the other people that have been in it. In fact, Faye Tozer and there were other people.
Debbie Mcgee and others.
They'd been to stage. I knew Debbie Mcgee from Red Dwarf days.
Yeah,
when I was dancing, I knew Debbie Mcgee, you know, just when she was, even before she was working with Paul Daniels, you know. Paul Daniels was the only person, when we used to rehearse Red Dwarf, there were like 2 people I remember that ever came and spoke to us. And that was Paul Daniels and Robbie Coltrane. No one else ever spoke to us in there. You know, and Paul Daniels was one of them. And because I knew his missus, you know, it was all very, you know, it was really cool. Because, you know, it was just, you know, there's another dancer. You know, don't remember, it's a room full of lovies, and, you know, to see another dancer, you know, Debbie was always comforting, you know. And also the other ones that they used to kind of thumb their noses at was the Birds of a Feather girls, you know. They'd be in there with their kids and prams and feeding them with bottles and nappies changing and all of that stuff was going on. It was unbelievable. But yes, so that's how I really got into Strictly. I never tried to get into Strictly. Someone just came and basically said to me, so you are going to do it this year, right? And so, you know, that was
Can't really say no at that point, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the part on Strictly.
Yeah.
So how did it progress from there? So what was your average like week rehearsing ready up to the live shows?
Mate, rehearsal for any show is 10 till 6. There ain't no such thing as half a day rehearsal, because if you only had half a day rehearsal, or you only rehearsed half a day, what you're trying to say is that you know it, or that you don't need any more rehearsal. And I was always a rehearser. You know, that's how you get good. That's how it looks effortless, you know, and that's what most people, you know, have a problem with. Some people rehearse harder than others, and it shows on stage. So, you know, I was one of those people that I would go over the same step until I had it, you know, backwards. So they asked you, because you only have to rehearse 11 hours a week.
Is that it? Wow.
Well, yeah, because they're lovies, aren't they? They're not dancers.
True.
You know, so, you know, poor lovey, after 10 minutes, he wants to sit down and have a Prosecco, you know. Whereas, you know, I'm saying, can we do that again? So we got through all of that stuff. They asked me, one of the questions they asked me was, what judge would you like to be stuck in a lift with? And I said Darcy Bustle, because she'd have the most interesting stories to tell. And I'd get to learn lots of those French words that they use in ballet, because all the terminology in ballet is French. And so it was funny that she was the one that gave me my first 10.
Yes, and you were the first at the whole series to get a 10 that year. Yeah. And so how did that feel?
Well, it didn't feel like anything, because there was 3 more to be had. So it wasn't a crowning moment for me. It might have been for them, but it wasn't for me. What? Okay. 1 out of 4? What kind of you don't go shouting about 1 out of 4. Who goes shouting about 1 out of 4?
Well, being the first of the series, though, that's quite
that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything, does it? Really? It's like saying, do you know what? I was good in the first act.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It doesn't make any difference to the scheme of things, you know. It was, for me, you know, 110 was good, yeah, but I'm the kind of person that would settle for 4 and then still want to be better.
So did you feel that pressure? Did you feel that pressure each week trying to get the top mark or trying
show.
being live.
I didn't feel any pressure on that show. Pressure is when you're standing in the wings in Cats and you're going to go and dance Mistopheles, which is 15 minutes long, you on your own. That the numbers in Strictly are a minute and a half. The end, the finale in Cats is 10 minutes long, and that's before you get to your solo in the second act. So a minute and a half. Come on, man. You laugh. It's true, though, isn't it?
No, it's true. It is. It's the difference between you being on stage and living it than what we see at home.
Yeah,
so for us, we see you guys preparing so much.
Strictly's a minute and a half. My one-man show is 2 hours long with 21 numbers, mate.
Yeah.
So
and that's the difference I think we see from the audience perspective to your perspective is that you've got that big history. You're used to being a lot more events. It is
hard work. So all of those things. The thing about that was, for instance, most of the time I hung out with the band because I knew most of them. I'd worked with that band in 1987. Dave Arch was the keyboard player in the show that I was doing when I auditioned for Red Dwarf.
Okay.
Those guys used to play on my demos in 1987. That's how I know them. But they didn't know that I knew them, you see. So I used to always, anytime you saw me, I was hanging out by the bandstand. And, if you notice, when I got thrown off the show, if you look, you'll see one of the singers walked onto the floor to say goodbye.
Okay.
You see? But people don't notice them things. They're too busy reading the press.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute as well.
Yeah, but anyway, that's not the conversation. The conversation is what a lot of people said. Oh, they were saying, oh, Danny John-Jules went into the show for the money. They did that in the press. I was called a Z-lister, right? They started attacking me before I'd put a shoe on. So, my thing was, oh, this is great. So I'm so shit at this game that even though I was going to go and do something that was so easy for me, and all of that. So, but they couldn't resist. They couldn't resist putting me down before I'd even got up on stage. I was a Z-lister. Yeah. And the person that calls me a Z-lister is the person that's never been on stage before. That's what they do. The wannabes.
So, why do you feel that some certain media outlets portrays you in this way? Why do
what do you mean certain? What certain? What do you mean? Are you saying I had good press?
There's some good press out there, but
no, I'm talking about Strictly. Where was the good press? You tell me where the good press was.
No, it wasn't as much as it should have been.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was exactly what I expected.
But why is that?
What I expected, because why? What would anyone else expect? What's your experience with the press? What you think they would have treated? Do you really believe they would have treated me fairly?
But why do you feel that you were singled out?
You know the British press. You read it every day. Do you think they would have treated me fairly?
See, I'm skew with on it because I see you in a different way to they do because I've been a fan of yours for so long.
No, but we're not asking you to judge me. I'm asking you to judge them. You read them. You know what they're like. Did you think that I was going to get fair press?
Sadly, no.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No need to ask that question then. So, moving on.
Yep.
But I already expected that because you might say wisdom. I would say you don't even call that wisdom. That's just by the by. If anybody wants to put up what was said, those people will never come here and stand behind what they said. Whereas my conscience is clear. You see, my conscience is clear enough to have this conversation with you, and theirs isn't clear enough to come and back up what they said.
No. So so the rumors were.
So that's it. Yeah. That's where I stand, and I stand because when man says something, man stands behind it. Whereas these guys, and I believe me, I even had dancers who, I say the word dancers, with my tongue rammed firmly in my cheek. coming out, some guy who allegedly, right, was seen as the bully in Strictly, came out and started having a go at me, saying that I was a bully. The funny thing is, the bully who'd been already called a bully on Strictly came out and called me a bully, and then took the piss out of me mum, saying she was miserable, and then and all of this kind of stuff. So the personal attacks were rife for anybody to have a go at me. Even some old has-been dancer who got booted off the show, right, who was apparently the biggest bully that's ever been in the show, and then come and started having a go at me with no foundation whatsoever,
Yeah.
And, even though that all this stuff was happening, they got 7 floors of publicity at the BBC who could have nipped all of this in the bud and just basically told the truth of the matter. So what I had to do was not only go and do my job, but try to sort of stay away from anything, media. I mean, I wasn't caught snogging people at night, and I wasn't, doing anything. I didn't do anything untoward at all. I was just attacked for no reason. But that's all good because, as I said, there are 6 dances of my time in Strictly, and I stand by them because that's what I went in to do. I went in to dance. For me, that was a challenge. Just like taking my kit off on the Real Full Monty, it was a challenge. But every time I do something, they say I'm doing it for money. It's just so weird, isn't it?
It always is, though. They try and latch onto one subject and they'll push that angle because they've got nothing better to write about.
Judge me on my art. That's what I'm there for. No one talks about my art. Every time they talk about Danny John-Jules, they talk about their own inner hate of me. Nothing to do with reality.
And anyone who's ever met you knows the opposite of this.
I saw a so-called showbiz person go on television and just rinse me out. Yeah. While a presenter that I'd been on a show several times stood there nodding and la-la-la-ing, I mean, it was unbelievable. That but the thing is that the BBC knows that it's all cobblers. And I had an hour conversation with them about it, and said, well, you're not going to say nothing because this is cobblers. So why don't you just put a statement out?
Well, do you feel a lot of that? I was on the phone
for an hour. The record will show that I was on the phone for at least an hour with the press of that show, saying, "Are you going to come out and say something?"
And do you think a lot of that was because it was getting publicity? The show was
no, but that is what I'm trying to say, right? They're happy. Listen, you know what they say. They say that not all publicity is bad publicity, right?
Well, unless it's personal.
If you go and read those articles that they wrote about me, right? I would beg to differ.
I agree.
Yeah, all I did was go into the show to dance. I never went in to do no one. They was all talking. As you get in there, every single journalist, all they spoke about was sex. They didn't ask me about dancing. Everybody asked about this so-called curse. What a load of old cobblers. The curse? What is this, Jumanji?
No, that's 2020.
I mean, it's ridiculous. They're all going on like it's some real thing. It's not, mate. Do you know what? I've been doing dancing shows forever. It's just no different to working in an office. If someone's going to shag the secretary, there's no curse in the office, mate. It's just Mr. wanted to get his leg over and she didn't mind. No one forces anybody to have a kiss and a cuddle in an alley You know, it's just what they do, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's human beings. That's got nothing to do with a curse. So when they said to me, "Aren't you scared about the curse?" I thought, "What is this? Is this play school?" Do you know what I said? My response was, he said, they go, you know, "Are you afraid of the curse?" I said, "No." I said, I've been trying to get rid of the missus for ages, you know.
She's already signed you up.
She couldn't wait. Listen, go do that curse, bro, because I can't wait to get you out of here. You know. But again, you know, I didn't look at anyone else. What am I looking at anyone else for? I came to dance. I didn't come to shag girls. You know. And everybody kept, you know, I don't know what they expected me to do, but it obviously wasn't what they weren't satisfied with Danny, the way he was moving in the show. They had to make up crap. You know, so, I didn't. All the controversy that was around Danny John-Jules was created by them, not me.
So talking about the controversy and the bullying aspect, what was your relationship with your partner Amy? How because we saw a tweet pop up a moment ago where she praised you and your performance publicly.
Where?
Well, they just put it up on the screen a minute ago. One where she tweeted you a while back. They just put it up. It's on the screen again now for you.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. No. Listen, look. Anybody who believes that junk, yeah, is mentally ill. I'll tell you the scenario of our rehearsal room. Our rehearsal room is what's called the Moberly Centre. I chose that venue for the simple reason. Why do you think I chose that venue?
Well, anyone you work with?
No, because one, it was my local. It was my local gym, and two, the entire back wall and wall to the right is open to the general public, meaning that there's at least 20 apartments across the way with a 24-hour view through those windows.
We've got a video popping up now to show you.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I was strangling some poor Welsh dancer all day in the rehearsal studio, they would have all seen it. And the buses go past on the right. Everybody on the top deck can look in. So every time at no time was I ever alone in that studio with Amy, because half of the general public used to watch us rehearsing all day and night. And as you can see, it's in the background there. So there you go. Yeah. First hatchet job of the day was to try and tell the general public that I spent my days in that studio bullying this poor Welsh girl. I even introduced her to the local vicar downstairs, you know, who is Tamsin Greig's brother-in-law. You know, so, you know, and then I took her to have her nails done with pink champagne. I got her loads of gear from Alpine Stars, one of my sponsors. I got her a tour bag and this. She has got exactly the same statue as this. Yeah. She's got exactly the same one. Yeah. A friend of mine, Lavinia J, who I mentored as a young singer, she bought us one each as a present, you know. And you know, it's all there. It's us, you know. I can't. I mean, nobody ever spoke about that stuff. You know, we did loads of stuff together. I introduced her to the High Commissioner of Dominica, who came to the studio. We took photos with her in there, and the Health Minister of Dominica, of my home country. Why would I introduce the High Commissioner to a girl that I hated her guts and I used to sort of throw around the rehearsal room? And you know, I was never told what abuse that I'd been furnishing her with, because I don't know if it was physical or mental, but, you know, 4 hours of the day, we had the sub-story crew, you know. So you have to
Yeah.
on the day you have the sub story crew. You have 15 crews running around getting sub stories. They were in our rehearsal room 3 and 4 hours a day. I hated them. I'm not there to do sub stories. I was there to rehearse, and you're taking up my rehearsal time. So if I was a little bit, sometimes, you know, God, what these guys, what would they believe? You know, what, mate? How many minutes per show did you see me talking my sub story crap? Mate, 10 seconds. For 10 seconds of footage, then people are in our rehearsal room for 4 hours.
So is that one of the things that could have been misconceived? Is the fact that you were passionate about getting the work done?
No. There was no misconceived because there was no fight. Mm-hmm. There was one difference of opinion, and in 6 weeks, right? One difference of opinion, and that I'll tell you exactly how that difference of opinion came. It was very simple. For 2 weeks, I didn't have my partner because she had an injured leg. No one knows that because they don't put... One thing they keep away from the public is injuries. They don't want anyone to know injuries. My partner was injured for 2 weeks. The dance, I had to rehearse with the choreographer's assistant. For 2 weeks, I wasn't even dancing with my partner until the night.
Wow.
You know, no one said that though, did they? They didn't say that, oh, I didn't have my partner to dance all week. The week that I made the mistake, right, which everybody came down like a ton of bricks, the judges knew that I hadn't danced with my partner that week, but they just slammed me anyway, didn't they? Because that's part of the game. They don't want to give me any way out. They did, and I didn't take any way out. I never said it until now. This is the first time I'm saying it. Because I could have easily got out of that and said, well, I made the mistake because I was dancing with my bleeding partner. But I tell you who I was dancing with, Graziano's missus, but you don't see her because she sort of comes in sometimes in the big numbers, right?
Okay, I think I know what you mean, but I can't remember her name.
Gladia, her name is. Excuse my pronunciation. And that girl stood in for Amy. Now, any dancer will tell you, I don't care how good you are, how long you've been dancing. If you've been dancing with a certain partner for any length of time and you do exactly the same routine with a different person, anyone will tell you it's impossible. They are two different people. They got two different bodies. They have two different styles. Each dancer, you have to take time to learn their stuff, you know. And so this girl took me through that routine and she just went on and on and on. It was, you know, for me, you know, she was a hero, you know, because I was literally standing with no partner, but, you know, she made me feel so comfortable with her. And, you know, again, Graziano, lovely man, and his missus, you know, those two guys there, beautiful people, and the kind of people I like working with because it's all about work, all about the work with them. And then, so that was the week that I made the mistake. One mistake, having rehearsed the show with a different partner. I made one mistake. And of course, the judges, obviously not wanting to let the people know that they knew that I was handicapped that week, but they didn't judge me with that in mind at all, did they? They just judged me as normal. Did I come out and complain? No, I didn't. Dancers don't complain. We work with pain all our career. That is not pain. That's not pain. You know, pain is shin splints, you know, torn muscles, broken toes. I did 4 weeks, the last 4 weeks, with my big toenail on my left foot gone and my right little metatarsal fractured. Wow. And I'm still wearing Cuban ballroom shoes and getting on with it. No one heard any complaints from me. Right? So, and then, because the final week as well, the ghosts, the one where I was dressed as the ghost, you had the picture up, yeah? That was another one. That was the one that I did with the assistant because Amy was still injured. right? So I did that one. I rehearsed that with her. You know, I didn't complain. But then again, that's what I do, innit? I dance, and that's why I went into the show. I went into dance. I didn't go in to complain. I didn't go in to do sob stories. I didn't go in to do any of that because it's all baloney. Art.
So was there any positives you taken away from it?
Yeah, my performances.
Is there a particular one that stood out to you as the favourite performance?
No. Yeah, listen, every week I was doing a dance genre that I didn't know. I don't pick and choose the best performance of the dance style that I don't know. I mean, my thing was I just wanted to get through it with credibility. I wasn't there to have a best this or a best that. I went in there to do ballroom. The same way when I went up to Scotland and I did a sword dance in a full kilt suit with 2 professional sword dancing girls with a piper. You know, that's what I do. I did that on one of my motorbike shows. Did I have to do it? No. I learned it at 7 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, I was doing it. So I learned. It's on the record, and that was at the same hotel where Nelson Mandela stayed and planted a tree. Yeah, I went in there. You go to that hotel, they'll tell you on the record when those girls turned up in the evening and taught me that dance. That's the time I had, and I went on and did that dance, and it's on our motorbike show. In fact, you go online, you'll see it. You find that. You'll find it. I've tweeted it many a time, or Steve Keys. You'll see it, and there I am. You know, it's about the challenge, isn't it? And of course, you know, the challenge is one thing. The challenge at the age of 59 is something completely different, which is how old I was when I did Strictly. Yeah, I was 59. I was the oldest person in the show, including the judges, and nobody gave me any credibility for that. They just wanted to slag me off. But that's fine because, as I said, anything to do with Strictly, all my dances are there. That's what I went for. If anybody wants to see what kind of time I had, go and look at my face during the dances. Does this look like a guy who's, you know, in turmoil in any way? No, I was just enjoying my dancing.
We've got a question from the audience.
Yeah.
From Sarah Atkinson. Would you do a different reality show?
Sorry?
Would you consider doing a different reality show like Dancing on Ice or I'm a Celebrity?
No. Because there's nothing there for me. Because I know what's going to happen. Right? You know what's going to happen. They're going to set me up. They're going to set me up to fall. Yeah, come on, man. They're going to set me up to fall. And, you know, the thing about it is they're traitors in a way, because in show business, it's all about looking after each other. They were called gypsies, you know, because they toured around all the time and living out of the suitcase. And, you know, if you go back to the Sammy Davis Jr. days, they all looked after each other. It wasn't this. There weren't people cutting each other's throats. In the vaudeville circuit and in what we call the variety circuit, that was not how we conducted ourselves in this business. It was all about helping each other. But, you know, when I look at the business now, you know, with people all they want to do is cut your throat, stab you in the back. That is not showbiz. That's not showbiz. No. Because if you ask any performer, they'll tell you when they were hungry, it was another dancer that gave them something to eat. But, you know, they didn't have anywhere to stay. And I'm talking about, you got to think about people like Sammy Davis Jr. touring during segregation. You know, and one time they got thrown out of a hotel, and this white woman followed them out and said, I saw what happened in there, you know, and it's disgusting that they treated a 6-year-old child like that, and offered them her spare room until they got back on their feet, which they did.
Wow, which is amazing.
And then,
which is amazing for the time period.
No, but that's a fact. Those, you know, so when people are just out there just making trouble for no reason, I think of times like that. So in that case, when another dancer goes on social media slagging off your mother, right, and nobody in production says anything to their ex-staff, their ex-member, then I take great offense to that, because I'm now your employer, and your ex-employer is out there telling the world that how a woman with dementia looks miserable. You know, what's that got to do with dancing?
No, there's no correlation at all.
And then have the nerve to actually back it up and start. The only person in show business that came out and had a go at him was Craig Charles. The rest of them just sat there and watched this happen. Because you know what, they don't, because they're so scared of not being asked to work again, in case they upset the BBC, you see, or in case they upset an old has-been dancer.
But if there wasn't,
what it is that, you know what, you can have your distaste and all of that, but when you specifically go on social media and tag me in it, you have a problem with me. That's not just you having an opinion. That's you having a problem with me. Now, the fella had a problem with me. So he went on, so I heard it. So when someone tells you something, so you hear it, he's saying that he doesn't like my dancing, right? That's fine. So I just didn't say anything, did I? And so that wasn't enough for him. So when I didn't fall for that, he came further and, you know, my mum looks miserable. 84 years old. When Cliff Richard met my mum, yeah, he never said anything like that. You know what he did? He took a photo with her. He took a photo with her. Yeah. So I know the difference between good and bad. And he's a wrong un. Right? I'll tell you why. He's upset because I learned his genre in 2 months. He's been doing it all his life. You see, they don't like that. Yeah. So I would challenge him. Let's do a dance off with every style of dance there is and see who comes out the best. That means tap dancing. That means sword dancing, like I just told you. That means contemporary dancing. It means ballet dancing. It means every dancing. Street dance, break dance, body popping, electric boogaloo. I could go on naming the style. I'll take him on in all of them. All right? And let's see who's talking then. In fact, I'll take all of them on. Yeah? I'll take all of them on. As many dance styles as possible. Yeah? You choose them. I'll let them choose the styles. I'm not afraid of no dance. Or dancer. So, but that's not big-headedness. That's just if you want to work in this game. No. If you want to work in this game, you have to be diverse in your talents. And someone like me has got to be not even more than a quadruple threat, because I don't have the privilege that Mr. has. Yeah, when he's out there running up his mouth. You see, they're all talking after the fact. Mate, you got booted off the show. Shut up and go and sit in your corner. Don't get bitter with me. I didn't do anything to you. So that's the way. I have to just find it cheap. It's cheap. That's what they are, cheap. So anyway, without staying too long on one fool, yeah? As I said, those people that I knew in the show already, like Dave Arch and all those guys, they already knew what I did. You know, they knew that I was a serious guy about my business. They already knew that. You know, at no point, at no time would Dave Arch have thought anything different. You know, and that's where I hung out. I hung out with the people that I think that have got this sort of, you know, the mindset to know the difference between Danny the performer and Danny the person on the street. You know, and there is a big difference. When I walk through that stage door, it's all about the art. I'm not into the isms and schisms. You know, there was loads of things going on. I mean, if anybody knows anything about dancers, right, they're always in competition. But luckily for me, I didn't have to be in competition with anybody, really. I was in competition with myself. That's all. I was just in competition with myself. I didn't care about who was better or me or not. I didn't care about that. All I know is I had a job to do. I had a choreographer who gave me every step. I never did anything in that show, dance-wise, that wasn't given to me by Amy. I never put a step in. I never took a step out. I didn't suggest it. Whatever she came up with, I did it.
And why is that though? Was that respecting to her, the fact that she'd put the work
No.
to do this, or
no? That's the job, MO.
Just the job, yeah.
Well, that's the job. The choreographer is king.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it was a collaborative process or not between yourselves.
You don't talk back to the choreographer. You can, yes, you can talk back, but not about the dance, not about the steps. Whatever the choreographer says goes, whether you like it or not. I've been doing that for 40 years before I got into Strictly. It was no big deal for me. Mm-hmm. The amount of famous choreographers that I've worked for would never be doing that show. That would be considered a bit like, what? Bit pony. Twyla Tharp, yeah? How about that? Whose husband is Milos Forman. Imagine working for both of them at the same time.
Wow.
In ragtime. I was doing ragtime dancing for Twyla Tharp. Twyla Tharp choreographed When Push Comes to Shove for Mikhail Baryshnikov, the greatest ballet dancer that I've ever seen. And Twyla Tharp choreographed a number for him. You know, I worked with Twyla Tharp in 1985, being directed by Milos Forman at Shepperton Studios with James Cagney in the cast, Donald O'Connor, Pat Brown. I mean, I did that in 85, mate. I met Bob Fosse in 85, alone in the Minskoff Theatre, right? With me, Bob Fosse, and an assistant and a piano player. That was in 1985. Mate, Bruno, Bob Fosse. Bruno, Bob Fosse. Bruno, Twyla Tharp. Come on, man. You know, and all this stuff. There was a story in the press that said that I used to take Bruno's classes. Bruno never had a class. Anyone would tell you that. Bruno never had a class at Pineapple.
Had you ever worked or been involved with any of the judges previously to being on the show?
No, mate, I'd never heard of them before. I'd heard of Darcy Bustle. That's why I chose her.
Yeah.
Bruno I knew because Bruno used to hang around with Arlene and the Hot Gossip crowd. But he wasn't in Hot Gossip, was he?
No.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when, you know, I never took Bruno's class. Arlene's assistants who taught class to Arlene, one was called Chrissy Wickham, and the other one known to the dance fraternity as Bendy. All right? Those were Arlene's assistants. Those were the people that taught her class when she wasn't there, which was pretty much every day. They taught her class. Bruno used to take their class. He wasn't a teacher. All right? So let's get that straight. That was another story that came out in the press. Baloney. Yeah, I'd never taken a class of Bruno. Why? Because I knew there was better teachers. I was in class with Charles Hawkins, who played Queeg. That's whose class I was in. Yeah? I was in the class that the Wallflowers were scared to come into. Louis Spence used to spend his days looking through the window. Yeah? And you tell him I said so. Right? Bruno never came into Charles Hawkins' class, and if he did, he would have been on his P's and Q's, because that's a real class. Yeah? So when all they, you know, but you think I'm going to sit there and you know, argue with these fools who make up all these stories, you know, and all this crap about I begged him for forgiveness after I took the piss out of him and Craig Revel Horwood, you know, saying that they couldn't dance. You know what they say? If you want to know who a good dancer is, ask a brilliant dancer. Yeah. If you want to know if someone's a good dancer, ask a brilliant dancer. You know, and they'll tell you. But, you know, as I say, you know, you are what you do, not what you say. And I tell you one thing, if you look up Darcy Bustle, you'll see millions of videos of her dancing. And, you know, Google everybody else. That's all I can say. Google everybody else that has judged on that show. By rights, you should see as many videos as Darcy, right?
You think so? Yes, to the level of it.
Yeah, well that's one for you. Google them and see all their fantastic, you know, performances. So I'm just trying to remember all the baloney that I actually read, but it's so drivel. I mean, I can't even remember half of it because it seemed like it was written by a 2-year-old with a headache. You know, I just couldn't see the reality of it. I was like, what? I said, I've never done his class. Mate, man, you know what? As I said, talk is cheap. You know what they say in it? Bring it to the floor.
So following on from all that, is there anything else you think has been left unsaid from your side? Is there anything that you've not said out loud or public that you want to
I wasn't there to say anything. I was there to, as I said, to dance. Right. What everybody else's MO was, I don't know. All I know is, right, that if you're supposed to be working in my corner, yeah, and you don't defend the wrong and the lies, then I don't trust you. So everybody was saying to me, right, that me not turning up to the Take Two show, that show, that everybody and their sister was saying basically me not turning up was a sign of guilt and how I let Amy down and all of this stuff. But what I'm saying is that by that time I didn't trust anybody in there, because every time I read an article it said BBC source and Strictly source. So as far as I was concerned, they were getting the stories from the BBC and Strictly and backstage at Strictly. Is someone making a cup of tea? What is that? I'm looking, I thought, I can hear someone making a cup of tea. I'm just jealous. So anyway, I can hear it again. What's that?
Sure. There's nothing, don't worry. It's on my end, don't worry.
Okay, no worries. No, you know what? I was like looking, I can't see anything. Anyway, I digress. You see, my attention span. How does he, learn dances? I don't know. But anyway, I'm thinking, well, hold on. All the people out there have read all the stories. Why aren't they asking the questions? Like they've read them, and they would have gone, what, really? But what I'm saying is, you see what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't matter anymore. They've shat all over you already. It doesn't matter now, does it? Because what they want to shit on you while you're in the show, while there's 11 million people watching. See, now with the little amount of people that are listening to this, yeah, it's not the same as going on Lorraine and lynching someone, is it? Because you've got all your people there, haven't you? You've got your audience who are baying to hate, and so you're just there, lamb to the slaughter. So the reason I didn't go was I was no longer prepared to be that piece of meat hanging in the butcher shop window for everybody to just come along and slice a piece off. I had the utmost respect for Zoe Ball. She was one of my favorite people on the show, for the simple reason, I remember we had this conversation and I was saying that I used to love her father on the telly, right? Johnny Ball. I used to love his, and of course he sent back messages to her saying how he loved Red Dwarf, my character in Red Dwarf and Death in Paradise. So, that's the level I was on with her. The only thing that was the only thing really that really hurt me about it was not doing Zoe's show that night, because she was the nicest person there, and the other nicest person who never judged me was Tess Daly. Believe it or not, she was always there. Whenever I was at the green room, she'd come over. She brought her daughter over, and of course Vernon, her old man, that I met many, many years ago when he was doing presenting. And I've got all these pictures, and I've got the films, and I'm not going to go and defend myself by using other people. Man, I've got every text message, and so does Amy, of our relationship in that show even from the day before I started rehearsing. Because when I went to the go see thing, where we get together and see what's happening, it was Amy that took me through my paces. Amy was the first person I met, other than obviously other producers. And when that thing, let's see what you can do kind of thing, I did that with Amy. But all the way through the beginning of rehearsals, I never danced with Amy. I danced with 3 other girls, because they don't make their mind up until you've already danced with a certain amount of people. So I danced with 3 other girls, and to be honest with you, none of them felt it's like putting on a glove, innit, dance partners. And once you've put on a glove that fits, no other glove is gonna suffice. And that's how I felt about Amy. I was so happy, because I got nervous. Because when you've danced with someone and you don't want to, it's not because they're not good, it's just that they don't suit you. Having the luxury, the moment I danced with Amy the first time, I knew I could dance with this girl. There was only one other girl that I ever wanted to dance with on Strictly that I saw, and that was that, what was her name? Flavia. I said, if I ever did Strictly, this is what I used to say to myself, I want to dance with her. The controversial one, the one that's got the fire, the one that breaks up relationships. I want to dance with her, because that's passion. That's what you need in dance. When you're doing a tango, you want Flavia. You don't want some tight lips, no, that's not really, you want that, So my thing that I wanted, that kind of, and I used to watch Strictly. My missus used to go mad every time Flavia came on. I said, "Oh, I want to dance with her." And the other one, I said, man, if they put me with Flavia or Oti, man, that's gonna be fireworks. But again, when I got to the room, and of course you had the Welsh girl, you see, she's, she was, and the way she was teaching, that's the kind of person you want. Okay, so this is the bing, bong, no, yeah, boom. It was like that, and that was when I first met her. So I said, yeah, this is the kind of person I need to be with. Because after you've been taught by Charles Hawkins, yeah, you imagine Queeg. He made Queeg in dance class. Charles Hawkins makes Queeg look like a puppy dog.
So do you have any regrets with working with Amy at all?
I've always said that. But why would I have regrets to the person that taught me how to ballroom dance? Nobody else taught me how to ballroom dance except Amy. Why would I bite the hand that feeds me? Right? Now,
a lovely picture on screen at the moment of you both.
Yeah, the Paso Doble.
Beautiful, beautiful costumes.
Everything was back. Listen, it's the best show on telly. If you're an artist, mate, I wish I could do my one-man show on that set with that band. Goodness gracious me.
That would be an achievement. That would be lovely.
Oh, my days. Give me that studio and an audience and that. Oh, my goodness. Man, I tell you what. I wonder if they'd let me use it on the weekend. Mate, if I do my one-man show in there, boy, I'll tell you, with Dave Arch and that band. Oh my days! You know,
Do you ever feel about doing your one-man show again?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on telly.
Lovely.
You know, well, I've done it on stage. You know, and you know, the thing is that I don't think I'll be able to get into a theatre anytime soon.
Sadly so.
But you know, that's challenges. A 2-hour show about Sammy Davis, it's a challenge. You see, it's not like they can't say I was doing that for money. I had one backer. I only had one backer. The guy that backed my show had never seen me dance, sing, and never saw the script.
Wow. So you just went with
he invested in me, not. So that was, you know, I had to be on it. That man put his whole kind of belief in me, and so that's enough of an impetus for you to go and be good, because someone has shown absolute confidence in you and hasn't judged you and has let you go. And my first thing in life at that point is to make that guy happy, to repay his the respect that he's shown me as an artist. And
there's very few higher,
and that's what I did when I went on that stage and he was in that audience that night, mate. You know, I told everybody it was because of him I'm doing the show, you know. And there was nothing more gratifying than to get out in the foyer afterwards and see his red face, right, with his missus just not knowing what to say. That to me was worth more than getting paid. That was, you know, you had confidence in me and I'm going to show you that right back, you know. So if you want to get the best out of someone, right, that's the way you do it. You don't slag them off. You don't leave them to hang out to dry to the media and all of that. That's not how you get the best out of people. You get the best out of people by being honest, you know. And I give an honest performance. You know, that's what I do. And then I get hit with dishonest quotes. So, you know, but anyway, as I said, I'm too long in the tooth to be really worried about too much about them. I just, people don't realize, you know, people take the piss out of me all the time, but when I take the piss out of people on social media, they're all the first ones to go and cry. But you take the piss out of me all the time, you know. So if I take the piss back, don't hate, you know. That's what they say in it, banter. That's what they call it.
Yeah, it's
no, but that's
just
what they
fun.
call it. No, that's not what I call it. I just say, if you know, all of these guys, you know. So to be honest with you, you know, when you cross the line, like that has been dancer, yeah, who's younger than me, yeah. When you cross the line and start talking about people's family, yeah, there's no, you know, there's no borders then, is there? But I didn't stoop down to his level. In fact, I can tell you what happened. I was at an award show. Oh, what was it? What was it again? I was at an award. Anyway, 2 people walked in at different times that had slagged me off into this show, and I was there with my sister, and I was sitting at this table, and I saw one of the people that wrote one of the articles, mate. When he saw me, the route to his table became like spaghetti junction. He didn't know where he was. He was just walking. He was trying to walk. How do I get past him without him seeing me? He was walking into tables. He went round like spaghetti junction to get to his table. Right. This is this is when hype is no longer there. You know, when your conscience is the only thing you have. And I was there with my sister. I was just laughing. What did he expect me to do? Get up off the table and run over at him and rugby from him, you know? Well, that would have been a mistake because he's about 30 stone. But anyway, and then I went outside to make a phone call in the foyer, and guess who came along with his missus? Has-been boy.
Ooh.
Right? So I'm looking at now, you see, this is where they say, if I was a stereotypical man, I'd have been all over him like a rash. Yeah? Go and ask the Cray twins what they would do to someone who disrespected their mother.
Yeah.
Right? Right, exactly. It'd be all over him like a rat. I didn't. You know what I did? Laugh in his face. That's all I did. And, you know, he was just standing there, you know, with his missus, like, and then walked in. I never saw him for the rest of the night. What am I going to go and get violent for? You know, that's what they
so
said.
That reflects on you,
no,
that's what they want.
That's what the Pillsbury Doughboys said on Lorraine. Yeah. Yeah. That's what he said. That's what he said. He said, I'm a volatile character. Like me, in that, you know, that volatile means violent, right? Now, if I was a violent character, I tell you what, Has Been Boy would have been, you know, I would have been all over him. Because you go on the streets and disrespect someone's mum.
It's just not done.
Go on.
It's just you just
no.
do it.
I don't care who you are. Go in the middle of an English pub and go and disrespect someone's mum and see what happens. Now,
you'll be on the floor in seconds.
They were trying to say I was the kind of person that would have reacted like that, obviously, because I'm a volatile character. That's what they was spreading, all that kind of stuff. So you can see, in fact, I was very reserved. All I did was laugh in the man's face because he is laughable. And, you know, hopefully he's still dancing for a living. He also rides a motorbike, apparently, which I do. You know, I'm a motorbiker. Never seen him at the races. Never seen him at any motorcycling news because I'm all of them. I make TV shows about motorcycling. That's when I did the sword dance. I was doing a motorcycle show, which I produced myself with Steve Keys. See? So I've never seen him at any motorbiking stuff. So maybe he just got on the cosy because it was leather. But anyway, we're talking about dancing.
Well, yes. Talking of your dancing, well, dancing's a passion of yours. Motorbikes are a passion of yours. Yeah. A lot of your projects seem to be passion projects per se. Is that because you got to the point in your career now where you feel like you can just do what you want, or you can enjoy, or you can push in that respect a bit more?
I've got nothing to prove. I first worked with Arlene Phillips in 1983, doing the workshop at Starlight Express. Right? Now, Arlene Phillips was a judge on Strictly. Right, so let's go back to Starlight Express. Starlight Express was pretty much the job that came from heaven for me. I was a roller skate. With a show about roller skating. So I goes up for the audition and that, and I met Sir Trevor Nunn. And I did my audition song, and I sang the wrong song. I mean, the skating part was not a problem. I just sang the wrong song for the show. So, you got to remember, this is a sort of high-octane rock, funky, well, I say that as rock and funky as Andrew Lloyd Webber can make it. But I'm there at this audition, right? And it's a massive audition. They're auditioning everybody. And I sang, Blue Moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. I didn't even jazz it up or anything. It was so boring. And normally, if I was going to do that, I'd be, blue moon, blue moon, blue moon. You saw me standing alone without a dream, without a love of my own. So you swing it up a bit. I was just doing the bog standard one. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone. Trevor Nunn came up to me. He said, do you mind going away, coming back with something a bit more, he just...
upbeat, a bit
live. He wanted to say not shit, really, but yeah. So I did. So anyway, I went. So this is an honest story. I went. I worked with an MD called Don Sherman, doing my variety days, and he lived in Ladbroke Grove. So I had to do a song, and I was like, bloody, what am I going to? I've got to do something snappy. So I goes, but you know what? Anything West Side Story always sounds impressive. So I thought, right, I'll do Could Be. It's kind of like a smoothie, but it's got a lot of syncopation. It sounds kind of exciting. So anyway, I went over to this guy Don Sherman's house, and I knocked on the door, and the door opened, and it was a guy I knew. I went. He was married to George's Chip Shop. Is the most famous chip shop in Ladbroke Grove in Portobello Road. That's where Jamie Oliver used to go and buy his fish and chips. He passed away now, but anyway, this guy, I knew Bob and I knew Don. I didn't realise they were father and son, right? Because when I worked with Don, I was in somewhere like the Isle of Wight, so far away from Ladbroke Grove. So anyway, I knocked on Bob up and said, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "What are you talking about? It's my house." I was like, "Huh?" So anyway, I'll go in there and I'll go and learn a song with Don, right? And I guess what song I sang? I sang, "Could be, who knows? There's something to any day. Why will know right away soon as it shows. I got a feeling there's a miracle too gonna come true, coming to me." All of that. Could it be? Yes, it could. Maybe something's good. In all that way, something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great. With a click, with a shock, phone jingle, door knock, open the latch. Anyway, blah blah blah. So after the song, Trevor Nunn comes up to me and goes, "Bloody hell, where you been?" He says, "My goodness." You know, he was like, his chalk and cheeks. Anyway, boom, boom, boom. I got in the show. So Arlene Phillips is the choreographer, right? First day of rehearsal, after we did the workshop, when we got into the actual rehearsal, when everybody was there, Trevor Nunn does this thing all the time. He mentions everybody's name that's in the show and what they do without any notes. Everybody's name, 50 people. Anyway, after he finished that, he said, "Danny, stand up." Huh? What? I was thinking, "You're fired." You know that one? I ain't done nothing yet. I haven't even been late. So anyway, I stand up. I'm thinking all the worst things in the world now. I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I done? I'm trying to think, have I done anything? And I'm thinking, no, I ain't done nothing. Anyway, he goes, "Skate around the room." And that's what he did. And he goes, he stopped and he tells everyone, "That's what I want the show to look like." Wow. Shouldn't you be saying that about the choreographer? Shouldn't the choreographer have skated round? And he goes, "That's because the choreographer couldn't skate."
No, that is surprising for that show of all pieces.
Well, but then again, I leave it there for you. I leave it right there. Anyway, she was a judge on Strictly. Remember?
Yep. I think she's back again, isn't she?
I don't know. But right now, if that's the case, there were 3 jobs. Two dance captains and a ballet master. I never got any of those jobs. But Trevor Nunn said the show was based on my skating. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. So we're going to start moving on to the next step of the evening. It's getting quite late now, so we're going to move on to the Red Dwarf and the questions from the audience. But before we move on from Strictly, is there anything final you want to say? Finally, don't believe the hype. Believe the art. That's it. And has your experience soured you? I know you said you were a fan of the show prior to that. Would you still watch it, or is it soured you too much now?
No, I wasn't a fan of the show. Why would I?
So I thought you said at the beginning.
No.
I thought you said you enjoyed watching it. Sorry.
What it was, when I say a fan of the show, what I was talking about was the technical aspects of that show are incredible. I still say it today. Okay. It's the most well-oiled machine. But as I said to you,
it's a machine.
There's too much isms around it. What I'm saying is that give me that show, give me that studio, give me the audience, and let me do my one-man show in there. There won't be no hype. There won't be no sub-stories. It's going to be 2 hours of just entertainment. And that's basically what I would hope that show would be. But as you know, it's a reality show. It's not real show business. It's reality. And as long as you understand that, you're fine. There's loads of little competitions going around in that place. Nearly everyone's got a dance school. All of the dancers have got dance schools, so there's all kinds of competition. You know, there's not. It's not just the listen. There were so many great people in there. You know, what I detest was when I got. There's a cat. I can hear a cat.
Yeah, it's my cat Poppy. She can't.
Okay,
it's a cat.
Oh, as long as I know he's there. Okay. So anyway, right. The night I got evicted, I knew I was going. Right. Because they have these two attractive. I'd say that. Otherwise, I'd have to describe them in a kind of street way, but attractive young, well, not young, just attractive blonde ladies who deal with the talent. The talent deals with the talent, right? So anyway, the talent came in one. I was in the green room standing next to Charles Venn, and for some reason, this talent person came over to me and said, "Oh, by the way, I just thought I'd tell you that Dan Wotton's in the audience tonight." So I looked at Chuck as if to think, "Oh, what the hell has that got to do with me?" Yeah, because, and she goes, "She's a guest of one of the judges." I looked at him again. I went, "What's this got to do with me?" So anyway, when I was standing at the top of the stairs at the beginning of the show, I looked down and there's Philip, right? Then next thing I know, this man's backstage. Now, if anybody knows anything about show business, the media never crosses that door. You never bring media backstage at any show. I've never been in a show where they've allowed media backstage, right? So straight away, I smelt a rat. I said, "You know what? I'm going home." That's what I told him. I knew I was going home, right? Because why would you tell me in a green room full of 100 people and not make it a memo to everybody?
Mm.
So
yeah.
I was already packing my bags by then, you know. And also, when all that crap came out, it was like, I knew there was an ism in the place, because why would you comment on it? That, you know, when you've got the press camping outside your door, right? And you know, all of that stuff. So I had this T-shirt on. Guess who gave me this T-shirt I was wearing? Lee Wallace. He'll know the shirt I'm talking about, right? It says, beaten but not broken. And I needed a T-shirt. I was at a convention and I'd run out of T-shirts, and Lee bought me that T-shirt. Isn't it funny? The person who's holding this bloody chat was the person whose T-shirt I wore to upset people on Strictly.
Well, Lee does have that effect online.
No, listen to what they said. One of the talent, not our talent, their talent girls came up to me and said, "What's all this with the victim T-shirt?" I said, "Pardon?" I said, "This was bought by my mate Lee." That's what she said, because she was angry that I had a T-shirt on that said, you know, beaten but not broken. I said, "What's that got to do with anything?" And I still, up to today, I don't understand it. Why are you angry about that? Because I was having a go at the press, wasn't I? You can beat me, but you're not going to break me. And I wore it. And why would you be upset about that? You should have been saying, "Well, good on you, Danny, if you was part of my team." That just proved to me that they weren't on my side.
No.
And so when it was time to do that, and all I kept reading about was all this stuff that wasn't true, and it was coming out of backstage. And for me, it's the first time I've ever been in a show where I was scared to be backstage. I mean, I say scared that I didn't know who are these people, who are these sources, where's it all come? You know, I spent half the days looking over my shoulder. You know, that's not what you do in theatre or TV, is it? You don't spend all day looking over your shoulder, because you can't.
You meant to feel comfortable.
You can't trust nobody. You can't trust nobody. So my thing was, well, you know what? I don't trust any of you now, right? So, you know, I'm not going to go into another studio so that somebody can just pretend that they were in that backstage of that, you know. And as I said, I just regret that I had to let down Zoe, you know, and I would be embarrassed if her old man felt that, you know, I'd done her a disservice, because, you know, there would have been a lovely, you know, sort of relationship, even though it's not face-to-face personal, it's just a respect relationship there that I might have, you know, now not have anymore for someone that I respected, you know, and their father. But anyway, that's why I didn't turn up. I refused to let them. I'm not going to be in anywhere where I don't trust people, and that's my prerogative.
Understandably so.
That's my prerogative. They can look down their noses at me about it, but if I don't feel that I can trust people, then I will not sit around among them. And that's me. I'm sorry, but because I do everything I can for people, and when people can't give me, I don't want heroism. I just want, you know, do not make shit up about me. Yes, listen, I know I am no holiday. My personality is no holiday. It's, you know, it's a nightmare. But I don't, you know, I don't F people over, man. No. One thing about me, people tell you, I'm loyal. That's it. And when people try to taint me as something different, then I have a problem with that. And I'm not saying it's just me. It happens to a lot of people in the game. And I'm just saying that I'm not the guy that's going to take it, because you know what? I don't need your job that badly that I would let myself be bent over a marble counter and shagged up until, you know, I give in. You know, that's not what you do, is it? You in our game, it's all about helping people. You know, that's why so many entertainers do charity work. I mean, that comes hand in hand with the business. You know, remember the old days, the Variety Club of Great Britain and stuff like that. That's what it was about to me. That's what I saw coming up. It was all about helping, not stabbing people in the back. But anyway, it didn't do my career any bad.
No, I had a lovely message from Lee while you've been talking. He says you still owe him from the T-shirt.
Lee who?
Wallace.
Lee? Oh, the T-shirt, Lee. What did it say?
Yeah. He says you still owe him for the T-shirt. And next time you're going to do free press, MCon logo.
Yeah. Well, MCon. Didn't I just say that the guy who's running, is he deaf? I just gave him a plug. I just said the guy who's running this night gave me a T-shirt, and it's got MCon on the screen. Lee.
Okay.
Oh, Lee. Look, I've just now knocked out my hard drive. You know what that means, don't you? It's going to say disk not ejected properly, and I've probably lost 15 film scripts that I was just going to start producing. But I'm going to put it back in. Intercourse. Anyway, yes.
Yep.
We got other things to talk about.
So, yeah, we're going to move on with the viewers' questions. It's going to be a bit of everything. Some Red Dwarf, some other ones.
Oh, I love a bit of everything.
Bit of everything. Just waiting for the guys to get that sorted out for me.
Listen. You know what? It's funny, isn't it? I was going to wait till my autobiography to say all this. But you wait till the autobiography. You think I've told you anything yet? What you got to remember is when people say, oh, you know, Strictly Insider, the one that gave everybody all the dirt, yeah, the Strictly Insider, BBC source, yeah, what they've got to remember is that for 3 months, I was an insider. I heard lots of shit about lots of people. So they better be careful what they say about me. Yeah.
I think that will be a very explosive read.
Mate, listen, as I told you, dancers, right, you know what? My school's bigger than yours. Mate, I had people trying to put off my partner. All that. Listen, I've seen the slow hand claps, you know, the asides. Mate, they got to remember, I had friends in that studio too, you know. And everybody hears everything. They didn't know that my cousin worked in that studio. They didn't know that for BBC Studios.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You didn't talk about the freaking T-shirt. Remember, there's a prize. What was on the front of the T-shirt?
Oh, yes.
Have you been reading my script or not? Where's Lee? Right? Remember, they all wanted to know what was on the front of the T-shirt.
Yes, I saw the thing. So, yeah, on the back of the picture we had was the Strictly Speaking.
Right.
On the front of the T-shirt, you said you'd be giving away a calendar.
No, I said that, yeah, it would be courtesy of MCon. That means Lee's going to be giving away. No.
Okay.
Look, hold on. Look, I'll tell you what.
Oh.
Talk is cheap, baby. You see, I'm a man that says what he means and means what he says. That's why you should believe me before these wannabe has-beens, yeah? Because I'm real. I don't, you know, I don't just talk. I do. And you see, boom, right.
Yep. Now, Lee has confirmed he will throw something in with your prize as well.
Now, let me tell you the story of the T-shirt. Let me tell you the story of the T-shirt. Right? As you can see, it's in the same font and everything as the real show.
Yeah.
Now, how did I get hold of that T-shirt if I'm the only one with one? I didn't make it myself. Right. We had a medic on the show and we used to get on really well. And, you know, like you do, I've always, you know, talked to the lower end of the market. It's all very well having all the big stars and that, but nobody really, you know, when you've been injured, you know, you spend time with the medic and that. So, you know, you chat, you get chatting. And, you know, he actually got this printed for me. You know that?
Okay.
And he wasn't asked back next year. He wasn't asked back next year. The medic, imagine. He wasn't asked back. That's it. But you know what? That's why I'm going to put it up there. Look, that's what it says.
Where's Danny?
Isn't he great? Isn't he great? Is that a great guy or not? He nailed it. He nailed it. And he wasn't invited back next year.
Which shows their pettiness.
I also bumped into a guy that worked there that used to go to my my secondary school. I can't believe it. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah. I mean, it was great. It was a great time. And one of the security guys, you know, I used to get on well with the security guys, you know, yeah, just having a laugh, just normal chat, you know, it's such a departure to get away from all the showbiz lovies. These guys, they tell it as it is. They talk to you like you're not a star or you're not a celeb. You know, it's just you can go and have just a normal conversation without being on stage, you know. And I left him my favorite bowler hat, which was my blue one, and I left that with him when I got chucked out of the show. I left him my blue bowler hat. You know, because he always used to compliment me on my bowlers and that, you know. So when I left,
have a very good hat collection.
I gave him my blue one. It's all on the record. You know, I'm not going to hate people that just because they work for Strictly or anything like that. It's nothing about that. I just deal with people. If you deal with me fairly, I'll deal with you fairly. You know.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, and you know, what's a hat to me? I'm in show business. I get hats every minute of the day. So to make someone's day with a hat, it's nothing, you know. But mate, you have to wait till the order. This is going to be just one chapter in the autobiography, because I tell you what, I've got so many funny stories. It's unbelievable.
You do. From last weekend and this weekend, the stories you've told us have been amazing. I've
got funny stories. I mean, but I'm not. You know, I'm talking about the ones that get a little bit. Wow. Ooh, what? Yeah. So I'm just showing you that, that stop. That what they need to do is, if you ain't got a decent show, don't try and patch it up with cobblers. It's just don't. It's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth.
Like you said, like the talent, let the expertise,
let the talent
the
shine,
medium
man.
shine.
And I always say to them, let the wild horses go. Like you've got such that set, man. Entertainers would give their right arm and legs to perform on that set. It
is amazing.
And
every
it's
week,
amazing
the
when you get
production
out
values.
there. And the production values are second to none, I tell you.
Okay, so let's move on to the questions then before it gets too late for us all.
I love it when it's late. I love it when it's late.
Yeah. The next chat will be Danny After Dark. Then we can get the real scoop. So we've got Ellie Griffith.
After Dark was they used to do that. There was a TV show called After Dark. I'm sure that After Dark, wasn't it Hugh Hefner's show that he used to have up at his penthouse? Sammy Davis Jr. Did a show up there. After Dark, yeah, you go and have a look. Hugh Hefner's penthouse, Sammy Davis doing his act in Hugh Hefner's penthouse. I'm sure it's called After Dark. I'm sure Lee will know in 10 seconds when he Googles it.
Okay, so we've got Ellie Griffiths has asked, from the recent Red Dwarf series, I've been pulling in the guest stars. If you could do one episode with any guest star, who would you pick? And what kind of role would you want them to play?
Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr. to play my brother.
Okay.
Instead of, like we had Roden. Roden, what am I talking? I've gone mad. Ray Theron, right? Ray Theron I've worked with before. We're from the same area. So it was unbelievable when they said Ray Theron's playing the part. I went, ooh. Because at first they were going to make him a girl. A girl.
Okay.
Because I read that part in the read-through. And that's what I said. I said he should have been like, he needs to be like the guy in Black Panther.
And Baku.
Yeah. See? When they was talking to me, they were going to make it a girl. But I did it like that, when I was doing it. I did it like him, but, big and sitting on the throne.
Big
like,
alpha and beef, yeah.
Yeah, but that's who he's supposed to be, isn't it? But they was going to make him they would talk, Doug he said, we're thinking of making it a woman. So I went, no, it's not a problem. I mean, but, when I read it after I read it like that, they were still talking about making it a woman. But
no,
yeah.
I think the
right.
big alpha male complimented Cat a lot better in that way. I think a woman, the female character.
He was meant to, because he needed to have have Cat under the thumb,
Yeah.
And that worked 100%.
Definitely.
So anyway, who's next?
Yep. Who's next?
Did I answer it? Did I answer that?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yes, Sammy Davis Jr. As you said. Okay, so the next question is from Josh Edward Pedalt. Sorry about that pronunciation. Any chance of a Red Dwarf and Doctor Who crossover?
Oh, mate, how many times in my life do I hear that I should be the next Doctor Who? I don't know.
Different.
Who makes these decisions? I don't know. I mean, Doctor Who, this is something... I've met pretty much every Doctor Who that's ever been, including John Pertwee. I've got a photo with John Pertwee, me and him in an airport.
So it's one of the only ones I've not got, so I'm jealous of that one.
You haven't got it? Oh, dare
I haven't got Pertwee, no.
I should have got that for you, but I can't because it's on my bloody phone and I'm using my phone. But I have got it there. And I've also, when I did Death in Paradise with Sean Pertwee, I told him all about it and he got quite emotional.
That's lovely. Sean's lovely.
So I've got a photo with Sean and his dad.
Nice. Well, actually, for me, you were the first guest I ever met at a convention 16 years ago. You were you were my first.
Do you imagine? Right, I was in Red Dwarf. I'd been in Red Dwarf for like 6 years. They couldn't spell my name. No one could even say my name. Yeah, and we hadn't been invited for a cup of tea for by anybody in the industry, even from the people that showed our show. never been invited. A cup of tea, not to say thanks, guys, for being the top show on BBC Two and whacking Top Gear and Friends and all of that, you know. But nothing, not a cup of tea. The Americans invited me to Chicago. That was the first time I ever got anything back from Red Dwarf. Was being invited to Chicago for a big convention, staying at the Hyatt Regency and all that. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Not a cup of coffee from the BBC, not a cup of tea. Never got invited to anything. Never been in any. Never been nominated for nothing. Just stepchildren.
Which is so surprising for some of the episodes you've done, like Backwards.
It's not
and
surprising
like that.
to me. It's not surprising to me because we're going through all this crap now, aren't we? I mean, that's basically what it boils down to, you know, because we used to say to Doug, well, what is it, Doug? And he'd go, I don't know. And then we go, well, what is it? What is it about Red Dwarf that nobody wants to deal with it? I mean, we used to ask everybody. Everybody used to say, I don't know, because nobody wanted to say the dirty word, you know. But everybody said, I don't know. But what do you mean you don't know? Of course you know. You just don't want to say. But that's it. I'm leaving it there.
So Sarah Atkinson has said, which song would you think the cat would enjoy dancing to?
I did it on Strictly. Top Cat, yeah. It was my first number. Come on, girl.
Yep.
Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Remember? And I was in Pink.
Yep.
They stole my whole character for the first number. Come on, wake up and smell the milk.
We've got a gentleman called Orphan Pixels saying, Danny, Blade 2, had you done any martial arts before being cast in that role?
Yeah. The first time I saw a Jackie Chan movie, which was...
Well, we were going to get an exclusive there, but Danny just goes blank because Hollywood
but
secrets. Oh, no, Dave's back.
No. You know what? Hold on, what have I gone? Oh, where's my camera?
We can still hear you though, Danny, which is good.
Okay, good. Anyway, yeah. What was I saying?
Blade 2.
Yeah, Blade 2. Yeah. So you know that thing, innit? A lot of people just known Jackie Chan. I've known Jackie Chan since the 70s. If you get a chance, go and see his first film when he's really young. You know, it's called Snake and Crane Arts of Shaolin. Go and watch that film. That's what we used to. Now, once you see your first Jackie Chan film, everybody went to kung fu class. You know, there used to be these huge fights after late night kung fu films at Shepherd's Bush Roundabout on the green. Everyone trying to do, you know. So of course, people would just be getting kicked in the face by accident by their mates and stuff, and you know. So everybody went. Yeah, I went to about 3 classes. Yeah, but I'm an emulator. When you're a dancer, you just emulate movement. So I just did what I've been doing all my career, which is to copy people body movement.
So on that film, it was more of an action role that we don't see you usually doing. Did you enjoy doing that? It's a bit slightly different to the comedy and things like that.
No, but you know, you got to remember, you know, that I've been doing drama for years before Red Dwarf. My first film was 74, man. That wasn't a comedy. You know, I've been doing stuff since 74. None of my musical theatre jobs before Red Dwarf were comedy. You know, I was doing, you know, Scum wasn't comedy. You know, all of these things. I only did comedy. My comedy career started at Red Dwarf. I'd never done comedy before Red Dwarf. I did, you know, a couple of bits like, you know, I did Three of a Kind where I met Paul Jackson and Ed Bry. I did Lenny Henry Show, things like that. But you know, my first line on television was given to me by Paul Jackson on a Three of a Kind Lenny Henry sketch, Break, Wind and Fire. I played the drummer, you know. And funny enough, we talked about that the other day. I bumped into him and we were talking about that very sketch. And, you know, so for me, I'm an entertainer. If a role's needed to be done, I just do it. Whether it's comedy, whether it's singing or dancing, I'm an entertainer. And that's what I do. If I don't know how to do it, I'll learn it.
Okay, Daniel, your camera's still off.
I don't know how it's off,
but
but how do you do it? How do I do it? Hold on, I've got cam. Oh, look. Oh. What's that?
Okay, now you've gone black.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know.
Hold on. Oh, hold on. I don't get it. I'm on edit name, edit stop my I don't know. Camera. How's that? I've just put it on. Front camera.
No change.
Yeah, but I've got it's on. It's on. Front camera. Yep, done.
Okay.
Mate, why can't they see me? This is ridiculous. Hold on. I'm trying. Okay, you know what I'm gonna have to do in it? Oh, I think this is frozen or something, man. I don't know. Okay.
You just
Hold on. It's just nothing. It's just this is all good. What would this be if I didn't have a screw up, eh?
It's like I said last time. It's to prove we're live. You know, it's just
I've done that.
Test us all.
My camera. Yep, front camera. Yep, done. It's all that. What the hell? What is that?
Okay, so while Danny's sorting that out, we're going to get to Drew's question in a minute. Just a couple of quick updates for you. We've got another live from MCon next Sunday night at 8 o'clock. There's no live guest. It's going to be the organisers talking with other regular attendees, hearing their stories, hearing their feedback, having a bit of a general round discussion. And in a few weeks, we're just waiting for the dates to be confirmed, but I'll be working with Robert Llewellyn, that's Crichton from Red Dwarf. So we'll be having another one of the live evenings with Robert Llewellyn. Tickets for MCon 2021 are still on sale, which Danny is attending. On next Sunday's live, the crew will be telling you another guest announcement. So look forward to that. And we're just waiting for Danny just to come back to us. He won't be too long. Any more questions, keep putting them in. We should be getting some soon. Oh, and Danny is back.
Oh, good.
Look. We can see you. There we go.
Listen, right? I don't know what's going on. I think someone from Strictly's trying to handicap me. Yeah,
it's me. I just don't want to share the camera. It's been an hour and a half. I want the camera to myself. You know.
Yeah, but look, you know what? It's really funny that I'm talking to you and I keep hearing a cat. It's like in my subconscious.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's not. It's funny because it's like I'm talking to myself while I'm talking to you. But anyway.
Yep. So we've got a question from Drew.
Drew.
So has there ever been any thoughts on how the Red Dwarf story should officially end? Is it how would you like to see it ending? Making it to Fiji, back to Earth? What would you like? How would you ultimate ending be for yourself?
That all of them turn out to be my slaves. And we go back, you know, to the cat world, and I give that rodent a good hiding.
So this gentleman, Drew, he's a big Red Dwarf fan. He's the one who got married at MCon, which you were in attendance before.
Is he the one that I filmed his marriage?
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, that's him. That's Drew.
I knew that name. You know what? That was hysterical. I love the fact that they actually went with it. Because it's so intrusive. I mean, that's like someone walking in while you're jerking off in the bath. I mean, it's just like, what are you doing there, man? The guys, I've got my hand like in between his legs getting these like shots, you know, the ring and stuff. And they just went with it. You know, to me, that is science fiction.
Yeah.
That is science fiction.
And that's the love of the fandom as well, though, for them. That's a major memory. That's part of their lives.
Who would let some guy walk around their wedding, filming him and his missus and his kids and everything, you know? And I've got my hand over the preacher's book, which was a woman, by the way, looking at the words. But they were so a good sport about it, you know?
It's lovely.
Yeah, great stuff.
So
I still remember they had their masks. When I first met them, they had their masks and everything, you know, like they were in cosplay. They got married in cosplay.
Wow.
It was great. On the floor, though, with the audience watching in the bleachers. It's so crazy. Yeah, here's to you. And long may it last.
So in regards to Red Dwarf ending, would you like an actual ending to the saga, or just so they continue living on?
Well, you know what? It'll become like Death in Paradise. I just read something in the Daily Express about them sort of speculating and making up stories about me. There's a new guy joining the show. So how do they? I don't understand it. They go, oh, all the fans are saying that this character is linked to Dwayne. Oh, no, he ain't. You know, I'm supposed to be going back to it. Read it. It's Daily Express. Read it. Why didn't they just ask me? You know why they wouldn't ask me, didn't you?
Because there'd be no story to put.
No, because they wrote so much shit about me on Strictly.
True.
Well, they all did. But now they're talking about, instead of just talking, they go, well, the fans seem to think that this new character is linked to Dwayne because, you know, back in the day, he was sleeping with his girlfriend and then he went out with her and then they make up this backstory. It's like, did Tony Jordan write that? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Some hack, you know, in the basement, you know, the guy that they send all the cracked jobs to.
So the Promised Land, that was the most recent outing for you got the Dwarf guys.
Land, take me to the Promised Land.
It was good to see a bit more of Cat's history, the people. But do you feel that we would like to see more of Cat actually being prominent in the story?
Look, man, if they put Cat in the story, you're just going to take over the show, isn't he? You know, that's not what it's about. You know, the Cat character is very hard to write for. Yeah, it might look easy, but it's very hard to write for. Now, if you're going to do an episode about the Cat, you better have it done right. But you know, I've got a script downstairs, which was a Cat-heavy script, which was written by Kim Fuller, Simon Fuller's brother, who wrote the Spice. Kim Fuller wrote the Spice Girls movie. He also wrote Delbert Wilkins. Yeah, Kim Fuller wrote, you know, the Brixton boy Delbert Wilkins, whose voice, by the way, belongs to a guy called Kelvin Smith, who was at my drama group. That's where Lenny nicked the voice from.
Okay.
The voice of Delbert Wilkins, and when Lenny went on the record about it, he said his name wrong. He went on the record about 30 years later after all the checks had been cashed. Right? And then he got his name wrong. Because Kelvin used to go to my drama group guy, you know what I mean? And he actually was the first guy I ever heard say wicked. He had a lisp, you see. He had a lisp. And that's where the voice comes from, you see. Kelvin, you know what I mean? So, you see, I knew how to do Delbert Wilkins before Lenny because I knew Kelvin before Lenny. Kelvin used to choreograph for Lenny's ex-girlfriend's dance group. And so I used to drive him back to London from Birmingham. And Kelvin would be that Ladbroke Grove guy, you know, telling him stories about Ladbroke Grove, you know what I mean? Right? And, you know, Kelvin, the kind of guy that you say, listen, it's getting dangerous round here, man. I start carrying an iron bar down my trousers, man. It's getting dangerous down the Grove, man. Yicky. Okay. So, right, see, there you go.
Okay, right, this is our last question of the evening.
You're joking.
From a Commander Watts. Danny, would you like to see Rob Grant and Doug writing back together again? Wow. Would you like to see Rob coming back?
Well, Rob's been around. He was at Dimension Jump. Right?
Yeah, I mean, writing for the show, I mean.
No, you weren't there.
No, I've been to one. But coming back to writing again.
He's been doing all those talky things just like we have with Ed and Paul Jackson. Yeah. You know, I mean, man.
He wrote some great books.
What? I don't get involved in divorces, man. It's up to the two girlfriends. It's up to the two girlfriends to sort it out, man. They, you know, it's not like to say Rob's not around. Paul Jackson and Rob and Ed were all at the Red Dwarf convention. I know because I was there. I did 45 minutes ad lib stand up in front of them, you know, and spoke to them all afterwards. Man, you know what? I'm not there to fix people's isms and schisms. You know, we're just the kids in the divorce. We stay out of their bedroom. Yeah, we stay out of their bedroom, and if we catch them shagging behind each other's back, we say nout. Right, and that's a question for Doug Naylor and Rob Grant. And when
Definitely.
they are in that room, that's when you should ask them, because they were in that room. And if anybody wanted to ask them at Dimension Jump, they had their opportunity. So my thing is, I ain't no social worker. Yeah. I've got enough trouble keeping my own self on the tracks. You know, I'm not worried about two guys who made a load of money writing a sci-fi convention who can't get in the room and talk to each other. I just think, well, baby, hey, do you know what? Just keep it moving, bro. That's what I say.
Keep it going.
Yeah, but no, look, mate, you know what? We can always look at stuff like, oh, if only he was in it. That's what they do. You know, if only Dwayne was still in it. I mean, it's just move on, you know what I mean? It's like, Doug's been writing this show for 25 years.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of loyalty would you suggest that I show here?
No, I get
who do I show loyalty to in that scenario? You see, I'm a person. I've got morals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't go into stuff that looks like you're taking sides.
No.
You know.
No, definitely.
And that's not it's none of my business. All I know, it's been a pain in my ass for so long, right? That we have to suffer because of, you know, other people's isms. Yeah. We have to suffer it, because we're the guys sitting there waiting to see if we're going to do another show, or because are we allowed to do another show, and all that, you know, all the isms and schisms. It's got nothing to do with the art, as I say, because once we get on that floor, we're going to produce. It's simple as that. I don't care if Rob writes it, Doug writes it, Richard writes it. It doesn't matter to the four guys. Whoever writes it, when that script comes on that table, we're going to kick ass.
You do.
End of.
Definitely. But thank you very much, Danny, for this evening and for the last weekend. Hopefully we'll catch up again another time. Danny is at MCon next year at 2021. And follow him online with his Danny John-Jules website, which is on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
And hopefully and join us again next Sunday for live with fans and some more information about next year's event. And then in a couple of weeks' time, I will be working with Robert Llewellyn. So,
and anyone that doesn't say how fantastic this show was, I'm going to tell Robert Llewellyn to cancel.
So it'd be nice, because I need the work, people. So everyone tell their friends it was so good because I need the work. So keep bringing me back.
Yeah, man, listen, you know, I'm serious. I'm on the phone to Rob right now, man. I say, Rob, cancel them. They're not loyal. Remember, loyalty is a big thing we've been talking about on this show.
Definitely. Very loyal.
And they can't touch me with that.
No,
they can't touch me. None of them. They know it. I'm more loyal than any of them. All of them put together. And if they can, anyone's quite welcome to tell me any different. And I won't go into detail. That show is.
Thank you very much, everybody, and good night from MCon Live.
Silly.